Hi, I'm DC, and this video is about my favorite artist, Logic. He wrote songs. He started off at an early age at 15, you know, writing the music and, writing about his life stories and all, especially with the things he'd be going through with his mom being an alcoholism and his dad being a cocaineism. So he kind of lived a rough life, starting off, and afterwards he was able to develop his career by age 20 and turn it into, you know, something that he enjoyed doing. A lot of his music I really enjoy, like such as his song "Till the End," as he explained, the story with his pops and all, and his other song "Under Pressure." He's rapping each part, each family member, and about them, their message, of their life. And he was doing it as a story. So he kind of like wrapped the story together. And there was another song, I can't think of the name of it, but he did a song where he rapped and was doing a Rubik's Cube with it. So this man, he's very intelligent, and especially the way he raps, it's kind of like, it makes sense. Every one of his songs has a moral to it. It's not always about, hip hop and, R&B and who is the best and all. Nah, this man, he just had different, he was like different from a lot of artists. He picked up his own pace, he did his own part, and as he did his own part, it was like, he did the best of it, and it came out great. And his song, well, there's a couple of songs that he also wrote too. Till the End, and he wrote a song where you're speaking about a neighborhood and how there was gang, violence going on and stuff, which was called Gang Related. And that song explained about a shooting on Montgomery Avenue where around 100-something people were in the middle of a shooting because of some stuff that was gang related. And, it makes sense. And as Logic wrote these words, he wrote these songs. He takes a little message and he just puts it into a universe to a song, which I think it comes out as my perspective of a music gear, as when he puts his words together, it brings out a great message, and it gets you to understand what stuff that he's been through. And another artist that I have that I also like is Eminem. He even wrote the same storyline of how he came up for nothing, and then he ended up becoming this multi-millionaire guy who, just based off to his music. The same, he does pretty much the same thing that Logic does. And in my perspective of a music gear, these two artists that I like, if it's going to be a hip-hop and R&B song, it has to be a song with a moral, with a message to it that leads behind explaining their perception of life and how they carried themselves as a, let's just say, as if someone was to write a message about life, they had to write something, the truth about it. So when they write the message, it has to be true. Otherwise, it can't be bull crap on radio. People look it up and it's not really true. So in their message, in their message, in their music and stuff, is that they write their songs just like a couple of other artists that I know. But my favorite one I would have to give it to is Logic. I have to give it to Logic, and with these two, they write morals to their songs. Like others, they do the same thing too, but it's not as big as these. I've listened to the entire album of Logic, and and I'm listening to every song, and every song had like a message to it. It had morals. It may have profanity into it and all, but it was like, if you were to find a cleaner version and all, you will understand exactly what this man has been through in his life, and how he became from not having nothing into something. He built a career out of rapping, and then he retired afterwards, which is pretty great. He took care of his kids and all. He didn't deny them. He didn't decline them and all. He took care of his kids, and while writing music. So that's my piece of gear right there, is a song with a moral to it, a song with a message to it. It has to have a message. It has to have a meaning of why the song was created. It has to have something that gets you to understand the point of listening to a song. It has to have the perfection of clarity, not even just clarity, but just like, like ethnics. There we go. That was the word I was looking for, ethnics. It's a pleasure of a song, a beauty pleasure of a sound, of a song, of anything. The song has to mean a lot. It has to mean something. The song can't just be written. It doesn't have a message to it. It has to be a reason why that song was created. It has to be a reason why that person wrote that song, and that's the reason why I chose my favorite artist, Logic, when he wrote his songs, especially one of my favorite ones that I like, as I mentioned, Till the End. As he explained, a little bit of his life story. In his other songs, he explained in Under Pressure, he did Every Family Member. It came out really good. It came out really good. And this is my project here with my favorite artists and stuff. This is gonna be, I hope it's a passable grade, but even if it's not, it's something. But these are my favorite two gears of perception of music and all. A song that has a message to it. Even if it's just not one song, it's multiple songs. It has to have a meaning to it. So this is my speech on what I think of ethnics of music gear, instrument of music. It's not really an instrument. They can play instruments if they wanted to. I'm not sure have they ever played instruments. I haven't looked that one up. But for what I experienced and all, the songs that they write, the message that has a moral to it, it has, it's like a figure of speech while in a song, and it makes sense. So it may not be 10 minutes because I'm running out of words. I really don't have much to say, but this is something right here, and this is for my class, and I hope that I get a passing grade for it. So again, this is David, DC. My first and last name is David Crawford, but I use my name DC for everything, because when I do music and stuff, anything I put my mind to, like especially when I want to do business someday, I want to use my initials DC. I want to replace hyper in front of it, so the full name is going to be Hyper DC. So I hope it comes out somewhere, and I want people to know. I want people to think and listen, be like, and they notice, like, that's that guy Hyper DC. We know this guy. He has a good mindset on things, and especially when it comes to gear and music and selecting artists that he likes. So it's not 10 minutes, but this is something, and I hope I pass for it. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. David Crawford signing out.